Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Oh, that's good. All right, thank you, background music. Appreciate it. All right, if you're with me, I appreciate it. Once again, as I always say, thank you so very much for hanging. If you're in here with me, I appreciate it. Put something in the comments if you can. I'm going to do this as an open forum first, and then we're going to jump right into the rabbit hole. And this is one of the most serious rabbit hole conversations or discoveries that we will find together in history. And when I tell you that, I don't tell you that to scare you. I don't tell you that to make it seem like I'm a know-it-all or anything like that, because, you know, we all learn together in life. Sometimes we experience things we don't really truly want to experience, and other times someone finds a discovery and puts it on the table for everybody else to share and see. So thank you very much, guys. As you can see on the screen, I have displayed what is known as the Emerald Tablets of Thought. And it's very funny because if you think of thought, T-H-O-T, there's also, and this is the trick on words, but there's also thought, T-H-O-U-G-H-T. I mean, it's kind of crazy. We live in a crazy world, and it's just sick. I start this off today in utter sadness and utter... I feel powerless. I feel... I'm not, you know, they say it's okay to be scared with a lot of things in life, but just never be afraid. And what's the difference? Well, being scared is like sitting in a room, the lights are off, and all of a sudden you see this huge, dark spider come out of nowhere, and you're like, you jump back and you're like, what the? And you're looking around. But when you're afraid, when you see that spider, you're gone, you're out. And you're like, I'm not going back in there until somebody kills that thing. Or something along those lines. I hope my voice isn't too loud, so let me try turning it down just a little bit. I apologize. So when you're not afraid, you're like, oh man, where'd that come from? And then you're reaching for something to kill that bitch. That's just what it is. Like there's a difference. And the same difference right now is what we're about to go through with the loss of life with this coronavirus stuff. And it's very sad because on the surface, we look at this as, all the other viruses we've had, this is just a virus, but I made the statement, and I actually shot a short video, and I sent the video to our governor, to our mayor, so that's Mayor de Blasio. I sent it to Richard David here in Binghamton. I sent it to Mr. Gardner. And I requested them to call me back, period. Because I really want to know what's really going on. And when I say that, I'm not... Look, I hate the word conspiracy. Like I said in every last one of my videos, I don't use the word conspiracy at all. Because conspiracy is a word that was created and designed to defend itself. What I mean by that is it's designed to say, well, it's speculation. It's not truth. Show me proof. I'm showing you proof with everything that I have found. And I ask for your comments because you might be educated in this field. So either you've been keeping the secret or you're the teacher. One or the other. There is no middle point. It's stupid to have someone throw up a comment or say something like, well, this is just another conspiracy, when they conspired against you. Who has conspired against you? And what I mean by you is you, the commoner, the crowd that surrounds the pyramid, the base level of the pyramid. See, because everything we've ever known, from the Bibles to language to colleges, the higher levels of teaching, all the way to everything we used to do every day, like work, meeting our friends out at the bar after work, going out to dinner with your families, driving up to your mother and father's house and just sitting there and having dinner with them and talking and laughing. You can't do any of that now. Are we awake now? So I'm going to throw something out there to you guys. I want your thoughts. I'm going to give it a couple minutes. I can only see the chat box of Facebook. If I go to my other channel, I can see all the other channels that are with us today. So to give you a rundown again, I want to say thank you to everybody watching, well, a few of you watching right now on Twitch, on my Twitch channel. That's HJDad43. Thank you very much. On Nemo TV overseas, Mob Crush TV, Smashcast TV, Vaughn Live, all of you guys, thank you for all my overseas people watching this. And I know it's harder for me to respond to you guys, but if you put it in the chat, it automatically comes into my chat window that's attached to my channel collector, my, they call it, what is it called? My Real Stream that takes all the channels and combines it into one. So when you're putting anything in the chat, I can see it, and I can also type into it and respond to it. You also are welcome to send me an email anytime you want, hjackson43@aol.com. Today is different. Today is Sunday. I know it's late in the afternoon and everybody's kind of just winding down from being stuck inside, or, asking if martial law is next. I mean, there's a lot of different questions we all have. But you are welcome to email me, hjackson43@aol.com. But I'm going to do something totally different, and it's only going to be for the next 35 minutes. So it's almost 5 o'clock, so we're going to run this until 5:30. I'm going to give you the opportunity to just call right in. And if I pick up, I'm going to put you right on the microphone, and everybody can hear your question, and we'll talk about it together. I'm not trying to act like I'm a professional. I'm not trying to act like I'm a know-it-all. I have about 50% of knowledgeable experience. That means we lived through it. I have 25% of what we're finding right now.
based on research. And then the other 25% is thought. It's collective knowledge that you try to apply with what you see and what you take and what you hear. So when you go into the rabbit hole, it gets dark down there, but we have to go into there because we have to look around and see what we see. And when we see a few things here and a few things there, a few things there, we take them, we squeeze them together, and we see what we need to see. So why waste your time doing that today on a Sunday, Harry? Oh, good question, Shadow Thought. Look, the biggest issue we all have with this coronavirus thing right now is supposedly there's just not a lot of answers out there. Yeah, all of our governors and our presidents and everybody's talking from the pulpit and telling us, what they're going to try to do and what they've made room for, with hospitals opening up more beds and bringing a new group in to bring in more materials and this and that. But we all should have learned a valuable lesson right from the very beginning of this, with what was being dealt with China. And it's so easy to say, well, China was hiding their numbers, or they weren't really being honest about how many people were passing away or how many people were getting ill, etc., etc. But we have been doing the same thing. So we can't call the kettle black. Can't. Let's just be honest with that. If we were really honest with this, we'd really discover how the fuck the frickin' bat got the disease in the first place. Come on. I was listening to a doctor yesterday, I think it was on the BBC, and she was like, well, most of the viruses are known to come from bats. Well, why are we protecting bats this whole time? Back in, 2009, we lived on the west side of Binghamton. There was an apartment. So there was 2 apartments in one house, and we lived in the upstairs. And we've never had this happen, but at the time, actually, my niece had stayed overnight that night with us. So it's myself, my 3 kids, and my wife and I went out to a dinner. We went to go get something to eat, and we came back, and my niece was freaking out because she's like, "You guys have a bat in the house?" And I was like, "What? We're in an apartment. Like what?" So I wanted to kill the damn thing, but my wife, always tries to keep me in line, and she told me, just call the landlord. The landlord said, well, you got to call, somebody to come remove it. So I called, and they wanted to charge $200 to come. Ah, man. So I grabbed a bat, I grabbed a bag, and a tennis racket. So I dropped the bat because I didn't want to kill the thing because I could go to jail over it. I mean, there's a law that you can't hurt a bat if it's in your house. It's the dumbest. That's what it was back in 2009. Anyway, so short story. So I grabbed the racket, and it came, and it was in the living room. It was just, I'm like ducking, rolling. I'm like, what the? So I told my wife, get a black plastic bag quick. So she threw it at me, and everybody stayed away else. I said, turn off all the lights so that we kept the lights on, but the only light that was off was the light leading towards getting out of the apartment, going down the stairs. So I kept that as the darkest spot. Because, bats have a tendency, especially when they panic, is to try to get to the darkest areas first. And this thing kept, I'm ducking, I'm like swinging with the tennis racket. I just wanted to kind of knock it out. And it wasn't working at first. So I took the black bag and was like waving it around a little bit to make it seem like it could pay attention to the black bag. And that's when I ran towards the hallway leading to the stairs. And I kept waving it around. And somehow this thing, it just made a beeline right for the dark area. I ducked. It went right down the stairs and it smacked right into the screen because the door was closed. I was like, dang it. So I ran down the stairs and I just popped the door open. I took the racket and flicked, and the thing said, and it was gone. I tell the story because why hasn't science figured out that if our viruses have been coming from bats the whole time, then why won't we simply just trying to work on alleviating the viruses from the bats? Kind of makes sense, right? See, and that's what pisses me off the most with this, because for years recently we've been taking what, flu shots, so that we would not really catch the flu as bad. Like, it's designed to, raise our immune system and fight off the flus for the flu season, correct? I mean, everybody knows that, right? I mean, I'm looking at some of the comments. Everybody knows that, right? So it wasn't saying that you couldn't still catch the flu. It just helped your body fight it. There's seniors that were getting the flu shot. They were forcing it on our kids. They were even saying, look, if your kid doesn't really get immune, we don't really want your kid in school because it's just going to get somebody else sick, right? I mean, it all makes sense, right? So why are we completely backwards with how we've been handling preparing people to have their immune system stronger before they're possibly affected? We could have gone way back to late January and decreed it and said, listen, we think this might be a great move to help protect us. In the meantime, we're also going to do these other things. So, and someone said, well, I think it was my cousin, but my cousin had stated in one of the comments that, because this is a different strand of the flu, this coronavirus or COVID-19 or whatever you want to call it, that penicillin and amoxicillin really wouldn't be too effective. And my point is this: that may be true if you're trying to give it to someone that already contracted it. We're not talking about the ones that already have it. We're talking about preventative medicine, an opportunity to try to get us strong enough to fight it. Period. I want you to think about something. If that does not make any sense to you, then why did we waste our time these last couple years taking the flu shot? See, it makes sense about the flu shot. Oh, yeah, well, because, that's just to prepare you for the flu. What do you think taking penicillin or amoxicillin while you're healthy would help do? They're designed to help fight what? Pneumonia, other ailments. Now, I do understand and I do agree. Yeah, maybe if you're already taking other medicines for other ailments, it might not help. We don't know. But what I do know is it is absolutely ludicrous to make people sit around and wait to die. I said that. So, why does it seem like they're just letting it happen? I could see if they decreed it and said, listen, forget the prescriptions that you need from your doctor. We're going to cancel that and allow you to call and get a subscription filled for amoxicillin. Take it, even though you're healthy, take it to help your immune system be ready to fight. That's all they had to do. That's it. It comes in liquid form, pill form, right? Right? It just makes absolutely no sense. No sense. There's not a doctor. Call me, 607-372-5465. If you're a registered nurse out there, call my ass. Call me right now. My phone's waiting. Call me. I got one little fucking phone. Call me. I apologize to swearing. I apologize, guys, again. But I'm telling you, there's not a nurse. There's not a doctor. There's no one that can sit here and tell me that it was a waste of time to try that, because Their because will never work. Because if they claim that that's their reasoning why they shouldn't do it, then why the fuck did we waste all that time and money paying for the flu shot and people still were dying for the flu? Well, it's preventative, Harry. It helps the body maintain itself and be ready to fight so that you don't catch the flu. That's the whole point. God damn it, you don't train, you don't study to pass a test and then get ready for the test and say, I don't want to take it. I'm not going to take the test. Whatever. I'm not going to take it. You can't make me. What the? Does that make any sense? It makes absolutely no sense for the person not to study knowing that there's a test coming. It's like you're welcoming a failing grade. You have no excuse, right? Look, I don't care if Richard David is watching, Mr. Gardner is watching this. I don't care. Call me. What are you guys waiting for? I'm not a doctor, of course I know that. But I've had kids that had severe enough coughs and pneumonia that we had to wait for them to catch it and then finally get prescribed for it. And of course the medicine worked fine. In fact, if you have kids and they've ever had a severe flu or high fever, one of the last resorts doctors go to, and if you're a nurse, you know what the fuck I'm talking about. They give the child what's called a suppository. In less than 10 minutes, the fever's gone, man. This kid's doing cartwheels and everything. You're like, what? What kind of drug was that? See, they can't tell you that they haven't studied the industry long enough to have cures, because they wouldn't have the power to knock your ass out just to do surgery on you and bring you back to life, back to consciousness. That's a powerful drug. Someone discovered that, right? You know, I never knew growing up from elementary school to my high school years that Benjamin Franklin was doing surgery on dead bodies. Come on, man. We're talking Benjamin Franklin, the same guy they brought in to make what? Coinage for the United States. The prince, right? So, look, I can't be the only idiot walking the planet, but I'll claim that title today, though. I'm the only idiot walking the planet. And right now, we can't walk that far because we're stuck in our homes now. We're stuck in our own property, right? So, all I want to say is that doctors, nurses, nurse practitioners, they all went to school to graduate, get into the health industry, and have a power. It's almost like a superpower. It's almost like they're heroes. It's like they're heroes. And for them to feel powerless to the COVID-19 or coronavirus or whatever we're calling this bitch has got to be the sickest feeling in the world. The sickest. It's gotta be. And you know what? I feel for him, because that's no different than being a father and feeling helpless because your child is critically ill and you have to leave it into their hands because they're the professionals. It's no different than you being a religious person and saying, I'm going to leave it in God's hands. I'm going to pray. I'm going to, you know what? Jesus loves me. I know he wouldn't let, and they still pass away. And then you have to turn to yourself and say, well, God says that was his turn to take my child. Are you fucking kidding me? I hated that when I heard that so many times from people. I hate it. I hate it. Because it's the biggest bullshit lie ever. Whether you like it or not. We got the book to prove it. And this book wasn't out for everybody when it was done. Only the elected ones. Why? Why? So my phone hasn't rung yet. You haven't heard it ring. I put it out there. Put it in the comments if you want. I mean, I don't see any comments here on Facebook, but let me check the other channels real quick. I mean, we don't have an excuse. Our job as humans is to try to do the very best we can to support life, not take from life. Support life. But the powers that be have their own agenda. They always have. We know about, global warming. That's what they're calling it. What happens when we have to deal with earthquakes and pestilences and all these other things. And then it takes us to Revelation, and they're like, oh, well, Jesus, tell us when these things will be and what's the sign of your presence. And there Jesus said, well, you'll hear reports of wars and all this other bullshit. Look, it's so easy to prophesy if you're fucking with the playbook. It's that simple. It's that simple. So, since I don't really see a whole lot of comments right now, I'm going to take a 3 to 5 minute break. And then I've got my shovel ready, so we're going to dig our hole and we're jumping in. And this, I wanted not really to be too hard on this, the seventh part of this rabbit hole thing that I came up with, but I started the rabbit hole because I was in search for my family tree. That's all it was. The rest of the world couldn't tell me. Everybody's been bullshitting for the longest time. And I think it was a movie called Rounders. It's a card game movie with Matt Damon and I forget the other guy's name. He's really good actor. And Matt Damon's character is talking to you as if he's the Texas Hold'em player, trying to be a professional, and he's talking to the first person, and he said, when you sit at the table and you look around, if you can't find if you can't see what's the phrasey word he used? So we'll just say dummy, okay? So if you can't see the dummy at the table, then you are the dummy at the table, right? That's kind of how the phrase goes in the movie. It's a pretty funny phrase, but that's who the peoples or the sheeples have been this whole time. They've been looking around for the dummy, whether it's through religion, science, politics, money, and they thought they could see the dummy, so they're like, yeah, we're with him. I'm with that guy. Here's my vote. What we're going to find out in this video is if this coronavirus is part of the pestilence that their so-called Jesus told his disciples about. And if it's really coming from the God trying to say, yeah, the end time is near, and it's the end of the system of things, or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Or has it been in their cards the whole time? Have they had access to disaster and destruction the whole time? And what I mean by that is not waving a little wand and say, okay, we're going to cause Katrina to happen. Bam! No, I'm not talking on that level. So let's be clear right from the very beginning. The level I'm talking to you on is no different than a video on YouTube that I saw a year ago where over in the Middle East, they found a cement casket of a giant, and it was an old, this guy was, the skeleton that was in the thing was taller than 7 feet, so it doesn't matter. But inside that same thing, when they opened it, now remember, they didn't know what to expect when they opened it, but they had all the gear on as if one of our nurses today was getting ready to work with somebody with coronavirus. They had the same type outfit on, same gear, okay? But The guys were in there, the scientists, they had the camera, couldn't wait for the casket to hurry up and open. They moved the cement top, and this whole shit just came out as you saw. It was like a steam. It was crazy. That wasn't the scary part of the video. The scary part of the video was simple. The liquid that was inside that casket. They drilled a hole into the side of the cement, and they let that shit leak out into a pot. Now they could have easily said, "Hey, get that to the lab. Let's run some DNA tests." They could have done that. And no one knows if some of it was sent, but what I do know is what they showed on video. And what they showed on video is when they told the guy to get rid of the liquid, he goes right to the city, which this burial was in the city, but he went right into the street of the city and dumped it right down the fucking drain. Right into the water system. That's no different than what happened with Fukushima. They didn't have any control, but we know the nuclear waste leaked into the ocean. So my question is, if you open the gates to hell, and all this stuff comes out, and they've got nowhere to go but on this level plane, the earth, who's stuck to deal with them? Who's to say they haven't possessed men and told men, look, let's do this, let's do that, because you have to entertain us. We need blood, we need all kinds of great shit. And if you don't, we're just gonna kill you and jump to the next guy. See, because your Bible does say some stuff on that, but they don't tell you where they got your Bible. What they tell you is that, oh, it was written by men of God, the prophets. That's what they told us, right? So right off the bat, when I come back from this little break, we're going to jump right into the rabbit hole, and we're going to go find Moses real quick. Moses. Their Moses. Well, how many Moseses were there? See, we have to find Moses only because supposedly he's the author of the first 5 books, right? Now, I want you to hear these words again, because I never heard them like this before until I really started digging deep over the last couple days. I'm just getting sick and tired of all the deaths that are coming with this coronavirus thing. So look, if I'm going to catch this thing and die, I ain't got nothing to lose. Do you? I mean, the thing that's worse with this thing is nobody knows who's going to catch it, if they're going to survive it. If they do survive it, is it completely out of their system? See, they're not telling us about those that have recovered. If they have dealt with organ damage or anything like that, did this thing leave its mark? Even though they have a clear bill of health, did they recheck their lungs to see if there's any more of it left in there and it's just benign or in a stasis, no different than someone that no longer has cancer? See, we got to be real when we ask these fucking questions, because we don't want to leave any doors open that they can run and escape to. That's what getting rid of doubt is all about. We have to have conviction. See, everybody can have faith all they want, but faith is just the assured expectation of things what? Hoped for. That's the definition of faith. The assured expectation of things hoped for. See, you can hope to pass a fucking test all you want, but if you don't study for that test, you're more than likely probably not going to pass the test. What's faith going to do for you? Nothing. So, in order for you to pass the test, you need knowledge, don't you? So study the fucking book and then take the test, right? So, I apologize for my energy. I apologize for my voice levels. My wife just gave me the dirty eye, so I gotta go apologize for that. But hey, you know, our backs are against the wall right now. We're stuck in our homes. That's where this is down to. People ain't going to work, to release, to communicate. So there's high levels of stress out there. I know. I get it. I get it. And I'm with you. I'm in your corner. You know, we all have to go through this together, but I just want some answers for myself. And I'd like to see you guys walk through this with me and check it out, because you know I'm not the only one seeing this. And, you know, it's kind of weird is that the emerald tablets, you know, they're plural. There's actually two of them, right? Kind of reminds you of Moses coming down Mount Sinai with the tablets, doesn't it? See, there just so happen to be 10 commandments, but really 9 of them are correct, and one became the 10th. We didn't know that. But if the Moses they gave you that went up to Mount Sinai is not the correct Moses, then Houston, we have a problem. So I'm going to shut up, take a couple minutes. I'm going to go get my whiskey ready, and I'm just being real shit. I spiked my coffee during the day. I mean, shit, when they put me in jail for that, hey, the world's over. I'm going to tell you that right now. But I'm going to go get my drink real quick, and we're going to jump in. And if you're still with me, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Put it in the chat anytime you can. I'm going to check the chat in a few seconds. This might go for another hour and a half. It might go for 15 minutes. I don't know. And like I said, when I show you some things, we're seeing them together for the first time. It's just what it is. Whatever it shows, and I see something that I could see in there, and I take it and put it in Google search, and we find something else, and we realize, oh my God, that's the same. That's what this rabbit hole is all about. I mean, that's what it should be. We should be experiencing these things together. See, we've been following all the professors, the ones that supposedly know it all, and they're out for the greater good. So, why do we have a shadow government here and there? Why do we have the hidden hand people? What was that all about? See, we're going to find out that 99.9% of all this is about control. Remember, religion was to regroup the legion. That's what it was. We've been serving and worshiping these stars for a long time. In fact, when I get back, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to play a song for you guys, and you listen to the words for yourself. But I'm going to show you something from YouTube. It's a 30-second video, and then I'm going to play the song in a karaoke version. I'm not singing, but karaoke version of the song, so that we can hear it. And then we'll say, wait, what? Are you ready? I hope you got your shovel ready. I hope you got your drink. I'll be back in about 5 to 6 minutes, and we're going to try to roll this shit out. But look, if you're not afraid, hop in. If you are, you clicked on my picture, so I mean, I invited you, but you decided to go for the ride, so ride or die. Let's do it. All right, I'll be back. You're a helper. You're pretty good at it. Ready? Oh, I'm nervous. Everything looks alright? Yep, everything looks good. Alright, let's roll. How are we looking over here? Smash Cast looks good. Alright. Oh, I got, what, 9? That's pretty good on Smash Cast. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. That's awesome. Well, some people do care about light. Let's go. Alright, get my liquor. Where's my liquor? Let's go black velvet. Alright, we got our coffee ready there. On the black velvet, let's go, boy. Woo. Straight whiskey, boy. That should help. Alright, we ready to do this or what? Don't know what we're gonna find, don't know what we're gonna see, we're just gonna go get it. Tesla 1, 2, 3. Alright, let's go. Let's go. Thank you, music. Appreciate it. Oh boy. Alright, let me recap again. So if you are with me on Smashcast, Mob Crush, Nemo TV, Vaughn Live, Overseas, all 4 channels, thank you very much. Again, I appreciate it. And again, please put something in your comment section and I will get to it as soon as possible since there's really not a whole lot more we're doing. We're all stuck inside. This sucks. This sucks. If you happen to be with me on Facebook and YouTube on Harry Jackson on YouTube, thank you very much, guys. And if you don't get a chance to see the live stream that we're doing and you get an opportunity to check us out just by rewatching this video again, thank you. We're all going through this together. All right, got my whiskey ready. That's straight. And I have my black ass coffee ready to go. I'm nervous, guys, but let's go. Because I want to tell you one of the weirdest things that I found last night. And I don't really want to turn this about race, so I'm not. But I'm going to address just the black folks out there. So I'm talking to you right now for 2 minutes. Ready? Resentment is a big word. It's a big word for our people because the way the history books told us is that they either just found us and we were slaves, or that's the Mormon version. That's oh my goodness, there's a couple groups that believe that, or there was no room for us in Africa, so they got rid of us. That's the theory that I heard before. There's another theory that our tone of people, copper skinned people, were at war with dark black skinned people. Now, when you hear the phrase copper skin, you're thinking, oh, today's Indian is copper skin. Get the fuck out of here, bitch. Get the fuck out. Look, there ain't nothing you gotta do. There's your penny. Do the Indians call themselves the lowest denomination in the world? No, they don't. The ones that are calling themselves Indians, they don't. There's your copper, right? You got copper pipes in your house that runs water through it, right? Everybody used to rip that out to put the PVC pipes in instead, and they sold the copper because copper was up so high for once. It's a tragedy. It's a tragedy. Even this book that we're going to show you, I didn't think it would. This book shows you the difference between the copper-skinned black man, supposedly, and the quote-unquote black man in that book. That book was originally done in 1517, but it was redone in the early 1800s, before your C.T. Russell from the Jehovah's Witnesses popped off. Where do you think he got his shit from? Oh no, he wasn't a Mason. But bitch, I said it before in the last video, I'll say it again. Judge Rutherford, who was the next president, would have sued the country to remove that pyramid from C.T. Russell's grave. Period. If C.T. Russell didn't do it. If it wasn't in his will to have it done that way. But Judge Rutherford and C.T. Russell both drove down, well, they rode down to Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, for a nice little meeting that a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses don't know that is in their archives. And that was at a Masonic temple. Now we know C.T. Russell started his shit in the Mason temples. We know that. But to wrap it up, if you saw the video I did just a couple days ago, I proved to you who the governing body really is. It's all religions, all their powers. They're acting as the governing body to represent souls going into their version of heaven. I showed you about that. Well, thought is deeply involved. So let's go. And again, I'm not digging in deep on Jehovah's Witnesses. I'm not digging in deep on Mormons, Masons. They're all part of this, so I don't have to dig deep on any one of them. They're all the same. Who knew that? Who knew that? Let's jump right in. So I'm going to show you something that kind of made me say, well, that doesn't make any sense first. So as we know, thought was also known as Thought-Moses. Thought-Moses. Thought-Mos. Thought-Mos the third. Well, hold on a second. Google. If there's a Thought-Mos the third, then who was Thought-Mos the second? Then who was Thought-Mos the first? See, you got to be very careful when you're searching, because they always give you the surface stuff that looks shiny and, oh, well, we're know-it-alls and this is what we're going to say about it. But if you don't look for their keywords that are right in their description, because they brag about it. So if you don't search the right word, you're never going to see it. So you can only see what they want you to see. And that's called the hidden hand still. It doesn't matter. Like I said, throw your freaking conspiracy shit out the window. We're just reading. This is a big-ass library club right now. We're going to be reading through a $99,000 book. And Yale University had one of the oldest ones of it. We got it on PDF form right now. I downloaded it so that they couldn't take it away unless they take my laptop away, and then, I still got it on a chip, but they got to find that chip, and that's how important that book was. The second one, the OSP, the Book of Jehovah, or Jehovah, or Yahweh, or Yahweh, same cat. He's the King of Kings, Lord of Lords, the top of the food chain, next to someone else that we don't know. So how do you see things that you can't see? That makes absolutely no sense. I was telling in the video about the hidden hand, I left a phrase out accidentally, and the phrase was, In the Bible, they tell you, don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. And we talked about it in that video. But what we forgot to say is, who on earth, as a human being, does not know what their left hand is doing compared to what their right hand is doing, unless you're trying to hide it? Come on. You need two hands to do most of your shit. So why would God's so-called freaking word want you to know from his so-called son when he tells you don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing? That's like saying, don't let your left side of your brain try to react to the right side of your brain. So let's play stupid with Wicca, Wikipedia. You know, we get the word Wicca from Wikipedia. We get Wiccans from Wikipedia. Does everybody remember the old original symbol that they had for Wikipedia when it first started? Anybody? Let's go 10 seconds. I mean, we know what it is today, but what was it a couple of years ago? You ready? The correct answer is, it was an opium plant. Opium plant. We know what that looks like. That's what their symbol was. And we're searching for knowledge. So what does that tell you about the ones that we're reading in the OSP most of the time? You got to understand. When you read some of the OSP, there's a master and an initiate. Where do we hear the word initiate? A lot of times. Now that we're starting to see more videos on YouTube about it, the secret societies. And yet C.T. Russell was the one that told you that Jehovah, or our God, created the very first secret society. C.T. Russell was big on what? The Order of Melchizedek. Or Kizadek. It's not supposed to mean anything. They want you to leave things in God's hands and let him decide, let him make a move. Right now, the doctors and nurses are making decisions because they don't have enough stuff to help them. So they're choosing who lives, who at least gets to fight for their life, and who dies. Is that what we have to deal with if one of our loved ones is at the hospital and we can't be there with them? We got to sit at home and listen for the nurse to call us and say, well, we had to let somebody else go in front of your child or in front of your wife. Good luck. We're going to send your wife back home and let her self-medicate. Good luck. Let's read this quickly. So, Thutmose the third was the sixth pharaoh. So, if he's the sixth pharaoh, we automatically have a clue right now. Where do you think we can stop right now? I just stopped and even showed you. Ready? Sixth pharaoh. So, and they said, this is how they trick you. See, that's a number, the sixth pharaoh. Can you guys see what I'm doing? Let me see. I can't tell. I don't know. Let me see. Check the channel. Make sure I switched over. Maybe I didn't. Hold on. I sorry, guys. I apologize. I'm glad I caught that. Woo! All right. Switched over. Sorry. You're with me now. Okay. So we read Thutmose the third, and it says Thutmose the third. We're in Google. Thutmose the third was the sixth pharaoh of the 18th. Do you see where they catch you? You see where they trick you? See, if there's 18 dynasties that had 6 pharaohs, it's just a way for them to trick you into expanding time, to make it a time travel thing. This is why they throw you with the BC shit. Remember, they said the dinosaurs are what? So many hundreds of thousands of years ago? But that the chicken is related to the dinosaur? The rhino is related, it's a type of old dinosaur. The elephant is a If you don't control time, you can't name it. They controlled time, so they named it. So they had BCE, CE, and then AD. Well, in one of their old books from the 1600s, they tell you what BCE has always meant. They told you what CE has always meant. And that kind of takes me back to the Georgian calendar, because I think that's what we're under now, right? What was it before, or vice versa? So your BCEs was before Christ era. Because remember, time counted all the way down to 0, and then boom, Jesus is born, right? And then it goes up to 33 years, he dies, and then we stopped calling it CE. We call it circa, or we call it AD, which is after what, denomination or something, after, I don't know, where it's supposedly after he was raised. Come on. The book told us BCE meant before conquest era. The CE meant conquest era. The AD meant after defeat. It's that simple. So ask yourself this question. And I typed it in Google. You can do it on your own. So listen, do it on your own. I said, hey, Google. And I typed it in. I said, hey, Google, just for shits and giggles. Hey, Google, how long did the medieval time last? Google spit out its answer. So I said, hey, Google, how long did the Middle Ages last? Now, when you type in medieval, it says also known as the Middle Ages. When you type in Middle Ages, it says also known as medieval. And then it shows you how long that time period lasts. So that's your Renaissance, all that little shit, right? Including the 1452 dumb diverses happened in the medieval times, including Genghis Khan, including William Shakespeare, including someone that was contemporaneous to Moses. Wait, what? All happening before you got your first edition of the King James Bible. So how did these guys know in the medieval times that they were part of a destiny? Anybody know that? Did the sun rays just hit somebody and say, hey, it's time to make a move? It's so sick because our historians, our archaeologists, all these cats, they knew. They knew. So who conspired against who? Who's the conspiracy against? If we're all on the same team and we all can choose God and see him the way we see him, and well, I have faith in this and Jesus is my answer and this. Not one copper-skinned person knew who Jesus was until the beginning of slavery in this land. Any Baptist, pick up the phone and call me and debate that. 607-372-5465. I will not hear it ring. If I hear it ring, I hope it's a pastor. If you think of the word pastor, what's a pastor? A pastor is somebody that's playing around with sheep, right? The sheep are in the pasture eating the grass, right? How about a bishop? I know what a bishop is based on a chessboard. What's a bishop in religion? It's a level of a title. It's a title given to someone to do something. No different than what? A monk? A friar? You know friar? You know the real definition, the real meaning of a friar? Because there was friars in this picture I'm going to show you. And it has to do with cooking. Cooking! God damn it. So let's do this quickly because we just picked up on this. Let's do this quickly. We're gonna highlight two things in this Thotmos the third Wikipedia definition. So we're gonna copy 6 Pharaoh. We're gonna put it in Googies. Let's go to Googs and just paste and see what name comes up. 6 Pharaoh for this 6th dynasty. Okay, we don't want the dynasty. We want the 6th Pharaoh. So let's see. Who's it say? Okay, it leads us back to Thotmoses, right? So Thotmoses III, variously also spelled Tutmosis, Thotmos. See it? Thotmos. Thotmoses is also Hermes, etc., etc. You see all the faces, right? Okay, we're in the stone, people, right? Right on the pyramids. Okay, was the 6th pharaoh of the 18th dynasty. So now this should give us time. Let's see. Hey Google, show us the 18th dynasty. Well, no problem, but we got a lot of variety. Which one would you like to pick? Okay, well, we got the 18th dynasty of Egypt. We got the 18th dynasty of Egypt family tree, which the term family tree is in the OSP. So that's probably the one we should hit. But I'm going to leave that for another day. You can do that for yourself. 18th dynasty pharaohs. Well, most of the pharaohs were only in Egypt. So you gave me one of Egypt, one of the pharaohs, and then the 18th dynasty of Egypt family tree. Kind of tricky there, Wikipedia / Google. All right, 18th dynasty tombs. So that'll show us where the tombs are at then, more than likely, right? Come on, that's just obvious. How about the 18th dynasty royal family? Hold on a second. Who's calling the pharaohs royal? Okay, how about the 18th dynasty significance? That's just for shits and giggles. We're not even going to use this that much, but just for shits and giggles. Now look how long these, look at this shit. Can we get a good picture or not? Look how long the caps were. Why? Just like some of the pharaohs, they had the snake coming out the front. Look, there's big head, right? Look how long his fucking face is, but look at the snake coming out the forehead, right? Because they were showing you that they were possessed souls. They were half-breeds. Whether you like it or not. Half-breeds. So significance, let's read what they say. The 18th dynasty of Egypt, noted dynasty 18, that doesn't change it, it's the same shit. Alternatively, the 18th dynasty or dynasty 18, either way you're talking about the same shit, we got it, is classified as the first dynasty of the new kingdom of Egypt. I'll give you a minute. I'll give you 20 seconds. Now let's just read how they fucked up. Ready? They said is classified as the first dynasty of the new kingdom of Egypt. I'll give you a minute. I'm going to say this first. If you're a younger person and you walk up to an older person, I'm talking about somebody in their 60s, 70s, elderly. We call them elderly. And that person walks and they tap him on the shoulder and say, hey, 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 hey. And the young kid says, hey, you're old. The old person on one's going to look at him like, what the fuck? Stupid, right? But now let's take that 60 or close to 70-year-old person, the elderly one, and they're looking in the mirror. And they're saying to themselves, wow, I'm old. There's a difference in pride. See, because that one that looks at themselves in the mirror and says, hey, I'm old. They have a history, right? But that young person calling the person old has no respect, right? So it's funny to that person. It's comical, right? How did they want us to respect Egypt with their pharaohs when they just gave us 2 time periods of Egypt? So there's 2 Egypts? Because on the surface they want you to believe in your little fake skull that, oh, so the new kingdom of Egypt meant it was just a different leadership. In fact, Tutankhamun was the one that said, from now on, we're going to believe in one God. That's called what? Zoroastrianism. How was it not? Same thing, right? So how could that be new? Well, we were worshiping all these other gods, but now we're just going to worship one God. This is the new Egypt. Are you fucking bullshitting me? How stupid do you think some of us really are? So let's do what they don't want us to do. And ironically, I want you to look at the period that they call the 18th dynasty. It spanned from the period of 1549 to 1550 to 1292 BC. Where's your BCE on BC? Secondly, they're basically saying, oh, we're kind of guessing in between, 1549 and 1550, and time counted down still, right? So just before Jesus was born, you're talking only 1,500 years before their Jesus was born. Where's the common sense? So was Egypt just a desert with pyramids in it and no people around when Jesus was born? So let's do what they don't want us to do. Are you ready? Buckle up. The new kingdom of Egypt. Let's go find out what Google says. And the survey says, oh, wait, there's a timeline, there's a map, there's a religion, there's facts, there's civilization, art, architecture. We're just going to type in the phrase itself. So if this is the new kingdom of Egypt, which I've never heard it that called it that way in my entire life, so let's read what they got to say. Ready? The new kingdom, also referred to as the Egyptian Empire, is how can you call the new kingdom of Egypt the Egyptian Empire when that's what it was originally, right? So the new kingdom, also referred to as the Egyptian Empire, is the period in ancient Egyptian history, which we can't really find too many books on the history of the ancient Egyptian history, between the 16th century BC, where's the E, and the 11th century BC. So that's what, 500 years? Let's just make sure we understand that. Because 1600 would be like 1500, so that's like 1590, right? to the 11th century, which would be 10 something BC, right? Pretty sneaky, sis. That's what they say in the Check Ford commercial from back in the day. You see, here's the weirdest part that I just put together just by reading this with you. Ready? In the beginning of this, I said, how long was the medieval period? How long were the Middle Ages? 500 years. That's what they claim. From the 400s to the 14, 15, 1600s is really 1,200 years. So that's actually, I'm sorry, let me correct myself. That's what Google says, is that it lasted for about 1,200 years. 1,200 years. What's the significance? Simple. They throw a lot of math at you in the book of Revelation, don't they? They throw a lot of math at you even in the early books of their Bible, because they tell you about the generations. And they got a perfect record of their history, that supposedly Moses went back in time and was given the knowledge to write down every name of every father, every son, every daughter of all those generations, when his mom and dad didn't even sit there and talk to him about it. Oh, wait a minute. Moses' mom and dad, actually, Moses was found in a basket in a river, the Nile River, and the Egyptian king's daughter, the Pharaoh's daughter. Do you get what just happened? Isn't Chronos one of their gods? They changed time and space to put themselves into a place. I'll say it again. They changed time and space to put themselves into the place. What is the place? The timeline. That's how you can stick a coronavirus type illness into history. So I got a question for everybody. Let's minimize this. I got a question for everybody. Ready? So my question is, what if this is really what your microscopic coronavirus looks like? And this is devouring the souls of anybody it touches. See, the saddest part about the coronavirus right now is, and you'll catch this when you start watching like Sky News, BBC, even Al Jazeera live, because they got that ticker at the bottom, and they are trying to update you and tell you that so many people have died after, and you gotta see it and read it for yourself. It says they have passed away after contacting the coronavirus. That's not how you should say that. Because it should say a person passed away 3 weeks after they caught the virus, 2 weeks after they caught the virus, 3 days after they caught the virus. See, those are the things we need to know, because at least we have a timeline of how long we may or may not have with our family member that has it. Their conditioning is getting worse. See, because these people here were under the same threat. Well, you can't go to work anymore. You can't, go outside your home. You can't do it. We're under attack to a faceless monster. Except this one had a face. And like I said, zoom in anytime you want. Look at how they show you the mouth. They purposely showed you the mouth on this drawing for a reason. And we can't really call this guy Beast Man, because there was tons of different beast men. And when you discover that your OSV book is talking about some of the leaders of those beast men, then you understand we've been serving them as gods this whole time. That's the true hidden hand knowledge that you never knew, that I never knew. And this is what I mean by the religions of the world, the sciences of the world, atheists, it doesn't matter who you are. This is their common knowledge, and they didn't share it with you. That's the unfair part of life. So either they already know where 99.9% of us are already supposed to go, or they don't give a rat's ass about you. I'm so pissed off that I just put that together that I don't even know if I want to finish this video. I'm so upset right now. I'm pissed. I'm pissed. And this came out of the book that's $99,000 to purchase. What university had this book? Yale University. Weirdly enough, isn't that where Skull and Bones as a secret society was started? Makes you wonder what other colleges have other secret societies holding down. They got to at least have what they call like a Mason Temple, something like that at each place. Think about it. Before we were all locked into our homes, you didn't have to drive far to go past a Mason Lodge. You didn't have to. Moors are the same. They know what they have to study. So don't look at me and act like, why is this guy sitting here talking bad about us? I'm not talking bad about shit. I'm talking about a source book that I found, and it helps me understand the shit that you already know. The question is, if you've been about life, why have you sold yourself out on death? Unless you know already that you are part of the ones that make up the crew that are trying to get on this so-called ship. Well, what ship is that, Harry? I don't know what the fuck you're talking about again. There you go again. There you go again. What ship are you talking about, Harry? So let's go to a ship, because we're actually running out of time. There's a video right here. It's called Three Planets in the Morning Sky. You know, your morning star, the same shit. But you got Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, and possibly Mercury, plus the moon. So that's 5. Anyway, we're going to watch this for 30 seconds, and then we're going to check out a video, okay? So let's just watch this for 30 seconds. I'll shut up. Now, let's go back for a second. I'm sorry, scientists. Tell us again why we'll be able to see them so clearly without a microscope. Oh, well, the reason is because the planets will be clearly visible because they'll be clustered together with no bright stars nearby. Kind of weird, because once you supposedly get outer space in a spaceship, then you can't see the stars all of a sudden. Now, they told us about polarities with like the moon, and if it's too close, you know, it affects high tide, low tide, all that other shit, right? Here's my question. OSB people, secret society people, no matter what your level, no matter what you know. Here's my question for you. Ready? It just seems like we're waiting for a ship to come in. A ship to come in. That's the old phrase when you finally made it, or you hit the lottery, or you get that letter to college you've been begging to get into. Boom, your letter comes. Your ship came in, right? If you know so much about stargazing and watching the stars and everything else about the skies above and the etheria and everything about it, then you also know that something's coming. So, why haven't you warned the world? So for the sheeple, they only let you know so much. Maybe because you can't handle the truth. I don't give a rat's ass. I don't. Ironically, it's a day before my birthday too. But who cares? So let's find